So today I'm going to read from the very popular Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Brutal games, grumpy dragons, sizzling sexual tension. Ooh, couldn't sound better than that, could it? Fly or Die, Fourth Wing. So this is the latest addition to this book, or to this series, is coming out shortly. And so there's a lot of buzz around it at the moment on TikTok. And across the reading community in good books, it's going to be called Onyx Storm. And so I'm going to read from this book, just a chapter, a part of a chapter, so you can get a taste of it. It's kind of fantasy romance, I guess. Okay. He seriously knew every battle in history and apparently every right question to ask in the battle brief, Rhiannon says, shaking her head as we stand on the sidelines of the sparring mat after lunch, watching Riddick and Oria circle each other in their fighting leathers. They're evenly matched in size. Riddick is on the smaller side and Aurelie is built like Mira, which doesn't surprise me as she's a legacy on her father's side. You're not even going to have to study for tests, are you? The rest of the first years stand on our side, but the second and third years line with the others. They're definitely an advantage here, considering that they've already had at least a year of combat training. I was trained to be a scribe, I shrug, and the vest mirror made me shimmer slightly with the movement. Other than the times that the scales catch the light under the camouflaging mesh, it fits right in with the tops we've been given from Central Issue yesterday. All the women are dressed similarly now, though the cuts of their leathers are chosen by preference. The guys are mostly shirtless because they think shirts give the opponent something to grab onto. Personally, I'm not arguing with their logic, just enjoying the view. Respectfully, of course, which means keeping my eyes on my own squad's mat and off the other 20 mats in the massive gym that consumes the first floor on the academic wing. One wall is made entirely of windows and doors, all left open to let in the breeze, but it's still stiflingly hot. Let's just turn that off. Just pause, bear with me for a moment, my lovelies. I didn't do that, and I forgot to turn my Do Not Disturb on, so I should do that also. Apologies. I can. Apologies. Apologies. One wall is made entirely of windows and doors, just left open to let in the breeze, but it's still stiflingly hot. Sweat trickles down my spine under my vest. There are 3 squads from each wing here this afternoon, and lucky me, First Wing has sent their 3rd squads, which includes Jack Barlow, who's been glaring at me from 2 mats away ever since I walked in. Guess that means you're not worried about the academics, Rhiannon said, her brows rising at me. She'd chosen a leather vest too, but hers cuts in above the collarbone and secures at her neck, leaving her shoulders bare for the movement. Stop circling each other like your dance partners and attack, Professor Emeretto orders from across the mat where Dane watches Aurelie and Riddick's match with our squad executive leader, Sienna. Thank God Dane's shirt is on because I don't need another distraction when it's time for my turn. I'm worried about this, I tell Rhiannon, tilting my chin towards the mat. Really? She shoots me a skeptical look. Her braids are twisted into a small bun at the nape of her neck. I figured as a Sorrengail you'd be a hand-to-hand threat. Not exactly. At my age, Mira had been training in hand-to-hand for 12 years. I have a whopping 6 months under my belt, which wouldn't matter as much if I wasn't as breakable as a porcelain teacup. But here we are. Riddick launches at Aurelie, but she ducks, sweeping out her leg and tripping him. He staggers, but he doesn't go down. He pivots quickly, palming a dagger in his hand. No blades today, Professor Emeretto bellows from the side of the mat. He's only the 4th professor I've met, but he's definitely the one that intimidates me the most. Or maybe it's just the subject he teaches that has me envisioning his compact frame as a giant. We're just assessing. Riddick grumbles and sheaths his knife just in time to deflect a right hook from Aurelie. The brunette packs a punch, Rhiannon says with an appreciative smile before glancing away. What about you? I asked as Riddick lands a jab to Aurelie's ribs. Shit! She shakes his head and backs up a step. I don't want to hurt you. Aurelie holds her ribs but lifts her chin. Who said you hurt me? Pulling your punches does her a disservice, Dane says, folding his arms. The Cygnets on the northeast border aren't going to give any of her any quarter because she's a woman if she falls from her dragon behind enemy lines, Riddick. They'll kill her just the same. Let's go, Aurelie shouts, beckoning Riddick by curling her fingers. It's obvious that most cadets have trained their whole lives to enter the quadrant, especially Aurelie, who slips a jab from Riddick and twists to land a quick tap to his kidneys. Ouch, damn, Rhiannon mutters, giving Aurelie another look before turning back to me. I'm pretty good on the mat. My village is on the Cygnesian border, so we'll all learn to defend ourselves fairly young. Physics and math aren't problems either, but history? She shakes her head. That class may be the death of me. They don't kill you for failing history, I say, as Riddick charges Aurelie, taking her to the mat with enough force to make me wince. I'm probably going to die on these mats. She hooks her leg around and somehow leverages him over until she's the one on top, landing punch after punch to the side of his face. Blood splatters on the mat. I could probably offer some tips to survive combat training, Sawyer says from Rhiannon's other side, running his hand over a day's growth of brown stubble that doesn't quite cover his freckles. History isn't my strongest subject either. A tooth goes flying and bile rises in my throat. Enough, Professor Emeritio shouts. Aurelie rolls off Riddick and stands, touching her fingers to her split lip and examining the blood, then offers her hand to help him up. He takes it. Sienna, take Aurelie to the healers. No reason to lose a tooth during assessment. I'll make you a deal, Rhiannon says, locking her brown eyes with mine. Let's help each other out. We'll help you with hand-to-hand if you help us with history. Sounds like a deal. Sawyer? Absolutely. Deal. I swallow one of the third year's wipes down the mat with a towel. But I think I'm getting the better end of that. You haven't seen me try to memorize dates, Rhiannon jokes. A couple of mats over, someone shrieks and we all turn to look. Jack Barlow has another first year in a headlock. The other guy is smaller, thinner than Jack, but he has a good 50 pounds on me. That guy is such an ass, Rhiannon starts. The sickening crack of bones breaking sound across the gym, and the first years go limp in Jack's hold. Sweet Malik, I whisper as Jack drops the man to the ground. I'm starting to wonder if the god of death lives here and how often his name must be evoked. My lunch threatens to reappear, but I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, since it's not like I can shove my head between my knees here. What did I say? Their instructor shouts as he charges into the mat. You broke his damn neck. How was I supposed to know his neck was that weak? Jack argues. You're dead, Sorrengail, and I'm going to be the one to kill you. His promise from yesterday slithers through my memory. Eyes forward, Amaretto orders, but his tone is kinder than it has been as we all look away from the dead first year. You don't have to get used to it, but you do have to function through it. You and you. He points to Rhiannon and the other first year in our squad, a man with stocky build, blue-black hair, and other angular features. Can't remember his name. What is it? Trevor? Thomas, maybe? There are too many people to remember. I glance at Dane, but he's watching the pair as they take the mat. Rhiannon makes quick work of the first year, stunning me every time she dodges a punch and lands one of her own. She's fast, and her hits are powerful, the kind of lethal combination that will set her apart, just like Mira. Do you yield? She asks the first year guy when she takes him to his back. Her hand stopped mid-hit, just above his throat. Tanner. Pretty sure it's something starting with a T. No, he shouts, hooking his legs around Rhiannon's and slamming her to her back, but she rolls quickly and gains her feet before putting him in the same position again. I don't know, Tiny, you might as well want to yield, Dane says with a grin. She's handing you your ass. And then I'm going to jump. There's a fight, and our main character, Violet, breaks a bone, and she's sent to the healers, and then she returns to the barracks. And that's where I'm going to pick it up from. The barracks are nearly full by the time I make my way back later that night, my throbbing right arm cradled a light blue sling that makes me an even bigger target, if that's at all possible. Slings say weak, they say breakable, they say liability to the wing. If I break this easily on the mat, what's going to happen if I get on the back of a dragon? The sun has long since gone down, and the hall is lit by a soft glow of mage lights as the other first-year women get ready for bed. I offer a smile to a girl who's been holding a blood-speckled cloth to her swollen lip, and she returns it with a wince. I count 3 empty bunks in our row. But that doesn't mean those cadets are dead, right? They could be in the healer quadrant just like I was, or maybe they're in the bathing chambers. You're here! Rhiannon jumps off her bed, already dressed in her sleeping shorts and top, relief in her eyes, and smiles as she sees me. I'm here, I assure her. I'm already down 1 shirt, but I'm here. You can get another essential issue tomorrow, but she looks like she might hug me, but glances at my sling and backs up a step, sitting on the edge of her bunk as I do the same with mine, facing her. How bad is it? It's going to hurt for the next few days, but I'll be fine as long as I can keep it immobilized. I'll be all healed up before we start on mat challenges. I have 2 weeks to figure out how to keep this from happening. I'll help you get ready, she promises. You're the only friend I have in here, so I'd rather you didn't die when it gets real. A corner of her mouth lifts in a wry smile. I'll try my best not to, I grin, the throbbing ache in my shoulder and arm. The tonic has long since worn off, and it's starting to hurt like hell. And I'll help you with history. I brace my weight on my left hand, and it slides just beneath my pillow. There's something there. You'll be unstoppable, Rhiannon declares, her gaze tracking Tara, the dark-haired curvy girl from Moraine, as she walks past our bunks. I pull out a small book. No, it's a journal, with a folded note on top that says Violet in Mira's handwriting. One-handed, I open the note. Violet, I stayed long enough to read the rolls this morning, and you aren't on them, thank gods. I can't stay. I'm needed back with my wing, and even if I could stay, they wouldn't let me see you anyway. I bribed a scribe to sneak this into your bunk. I hope you know how proud I am to be your sister. Brennan wrote this for me the summer before I entered the quadrant. It saved me, and it can save you too. I added on my own bits of hard-earned wisdom here and there, but mostly it's his, and I know he'd want you to have it. He'd want you to live. Love, Mira. I swallow past the knot in my throat and set the note aside. What is it? Rhiannon asks. It's my brother's. The words barely make it past my lips as I open the cover. Mother burned everything he owned after he died, as tradition dictates. It's been ages since I've seen the bold strokes of his handwriting, and yet there they are. My chest tightens, and a fresh wave of grief sweeps through me. The Book of Brennan. I read along with the first page and then flipped to the second. Mira, you're a Sorrengail, so you'll survive. Perhaps not as spectacularly as I have, but we all can't live up to my standards, can we? All kidding aside, this is everything I've learned. Keep it safe, keep it hidden. You have to live, because Violet is watching. You can't let her see you fail. Brennan. Tears prick my eyes, but I can blink them back. It's just his journal, I lie, thumbing through the pages. I can hear his quippy, sarcastic tone as I skim over his words, as though he's standing here, making light of every danger with a wink and a grin. Damn, I miss him. He died 5 years ago. Oh, that's... Rhiannon leans in, her eyes heavy with sympathy. We don't always burn everything either. Sometimes it's nice to have something, you know? Yeah, I whisper. It's everything to have this, and yet I know Mum will toss it in the fire if she ever finds it. Rhiannon sits back on her bed, opening her history book, and I fall back into Brennan's history, starting on the 3rd page. You survive parapet. Good. Be observant the next few days and don't do anything to draw attention to yourself. I've sketched a map that shows you not only where the classrooms are, but where the instructors meet too. I know you're nervous about the challenges, but you shouldn't be, not with that right hook of yours. The matches might seem random, but they're not. What the instructors don't tell you is that they decide challenges the week before. Mirror. Any cadet can request a challenge, yes, but the instructors will assign your matches based on weeding out the weakest. That means once the real hand-to-hand starts, the instructors already know who you'll be up against that day. Here's the secret. If you know where to look and can get out without being seen, you'll know who you're fighting against, so you can prepare. I suck in a breath and devour the rest of the entry, hope blossoming in my chest. If I know who I'm fighting, then I can begin the battle before I even step on the mat. My mind spins, a plan taking place. 2 weeks, that's how long I have to get everything I need before the challenges begin. And no one knows the grounds of Basgiath like I do. It's all here. A slow smile spreads across my face. I know how to survive. There we go. So I'm finished this big book, and now I'm on to the next book in the series, which is called Iron Flame, in readiness for the third chapter, the third in the series, which is called Onyx Storm. So I can't wait for that.